Hey gang, welcome back to another Coffee with Laura. Today we are going to talk about stress. And let me start by apologizing for missing Coffee with Laura last week. For those who saw, my cute, adorable little Bubba was in the hospital. But good news is he is doing much, much better and looks like things are going to be a-okay. But it's ironic that I was supposed to be talking about stress and I was in like the middle of a stress storm. But that's life for you, isn't it? And that's exactly the point. Stress isn't pleasant, but it isn't necessarily bad. How we experience it, especially in today's culture, tends to be more negative, but it's because of how we internalize it and what we make it mean and how we understand it. But the whole reason we have stress is a survival instinct. Generations ago, it helped cavemen know that there's a bear or a lion that was about to attack it. And thank God, because otherwise we would not be here. But nowadays, as we have evolved, so is our stress response. So we might have the same physiological reaction to a bear attacking us as we would to being afraid of hurting someone's feelings or losing our job or being late, for instance. But it largely has to do with our understanding of it. We live in a culture of urgency and busyness, all because we don't really know who we are. We don't have a sense of ourselves, so we try to prove it through convenience of being the fastest or showing we're important by being busy. And it doesn't really do the job. And I'm not saying it as if I have any other experience. I don't anymore, but I absolutely did. I actually try not to say I'm busy anymore, more that I just have a lot going on and I'm trying to manage it. Is it more to say? You bet. But it sends a different message. And at the end of the day, we only stress about things that we care about. And sometimes what we care about is not feeling uncomfortable. So we might stress about what someone else might think of us. That means we probably don't completely know what we think of ourselves and we give more value to what others think of ourselves. But that's a different conversation. And B, it's because we care that if they think something negative about us, then that's going to mean something. Like they won't want to be our friend, or they won't want to spend time with us, or they won't like us anymore. And that makes us feel something we don't like to feel. And if I zoom in to pretty much all stressful situations, it all boils down to we stress about things that we think will cause emotions we don't want to feel. Whether that's feeling insignificant or sad or angry or less than or regretful or scared. But that's what we're ultimately stressing about, is things that we care about that we think will make us have to experience something we don't want to experience. From that context, we should actually work on our ability to feel uncomfortable emotions, because name anyone who's gotten through life without feeling that stuff. They exist for a reason. No one gets through life without it. But stress is what we feel when something we care about is at stake. If we can understand what's at stake, or what we feel is at stake, what we feel is threatened, then we can respond differently. Maybe it's your self-image. Maybe you're worried that your boss won't approve of the work that you put forth toward a project, or that you're running late and someone's going to think that you don't respect their time. Again, a lot of mind reading, but that's again because you don't know who you are at the end of the day. And you care about how others are perceiving you more than how you perceive yourself, which is its own separate problem. But we can't escape stress. The greatest thing that we can do is understand how to manage it and how to think about it differently. If every time you feel stressed, you can recognize, okay, this is just something that I care about that's at stake. It's popping up to actually grab your attention so you can be more attentive to whatever you care about. Isn't that good? Like, I use this example with exercise all the time. Whenever I have clients who are just kind of going through a workout, their minds be bopping around to you name it. But if they're doing a heavy lift or a hard exercise, their mind is focused on their form. Why? Because they're stressed out that they might injure themselves, and they're paying more attention to their form so they don't injure themselves. Isn't that a good thing? Why do we always feel that stress is bad? It's uncomfortable, sure. I don't like it any more than you. The pressure, the urgency, but we do that to ourselves. That's how we choose to experience it, because we tell ourselves a story, it has to get done right now. Does it though? Projects miss deadlines all the time. I don't like it any more than you, but what cost is it worth? Is it worth your health? Is it worth money? For some people, the answer will be yes, and there's no judgment. It's very independent. But here's what I'll say. When I started Change My Challenge, I had an idea of what I wanted it to look like. And when it didn't look like that as quickly as I wanted it to, I stressed out. I pulled all-nighters, I sacrificed my health, I felt like shit. And it didn't take too long for me to realize I couldn't keep going that way. Because, yeah, I want things to look a certain way now, just like you guys do, but I can't control that. What I can control is my experience of the journey there. If it means it's going to take an extra year or 10 years to get to where I want it to look like, okay. I'd rather enjoy my experience of life for those year or 10 years than suffer through a stressful hurricane to get there in 5 years or whatever it would look like. Our urgency speaks to us trying to please others and trying to seek approval, trying to be seen in general, to feel important, to feel worthy. And those are deeper concepts, absolutely. But that is the essence of why we strive in that context. If you're someone who struggles with stress on a day-to-day basis, the best thing I can tell you is you're going to make the biggest dent when you do more personal work to understand why you feel like you need to seek approval, why you feel like you need to please, why you feel like you need to prove, or why you feel like you need to be perfect. Having a greater capacity for your ability to experience some uncomfortable emotions and recognizing they're happening so that they can get your attention, so you can perform or be someone more aligned to the current circumstances. And they're not necessarily bad, they're just uncomfortable. That's going to take a bigger dent out of your entire experience of stress. Also, it's easier said than done. And I know that as someone who's done the work. But for those who don't want to do the work, here's my best tips. 1, your body feels threatened. That's why you're feeling stressed. Recognize what you feel is threatened, what you feel that you care about that's at stake, whether that's your self-image or someone you love, whatever it is. Then catch your awareness, try and stop it through, you could do sensory things, so like hot water, cold water, you could smell something, it's why a lot of people stress eat, because food or any type of taste is going to do that. You can listen to music. There's a bunch of different ways to grab your sensory information, but it's a system. Like, your stress is within your nervous system. The other system is your rest, digest, heal, and feel. It's your smart system. The best way that you can actually get out of stress is conscious, intentional breathing for at least 2 minutes. So you can do something like the double inhale, 3 to 10 of those breaths, ideally 2 minutes, and you will switch your system from the stress response into the intelligent rested response. You can download a free app. It's called The Breathing App. And it's literally a ball that gets big and small, and you inhale and exhale when it gets big or small. Or you can count in your head, inhale for 5 seconds, hold for 5 seconds, exhale for 7. Or there's box breathing, which is inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. You can try something like Yoga Nidra, which is just body awareness, or something like progressive muscle relaxation. Those are the things that have been most useful at getting people out of their stress response in the moment. But at the end of the day, it comes down to your mind. So if you're breathing consciously, intentionally, and you notice your brain is going back and forth to all the things that you were originally stressing about, not going to matter. So you need to either like visualize the numbers, or you need to find a way to be able to focus your mind. Otherwise, you're just going to repeat the same pattern. But those are the quick tips to get out of it. But if you really want to make a dent at your stress experience, you have to think about it differently. You have to understand that you're human, you're going to make mistakes, and that you need a better sense of who you are instead of trying to look to everyone else for who you are. Not comfortable, people don't tend to like it, but it's very freeing. It's a huge relief and can be very fulfilling. So I strongly encourage you to do it. And if you want guidance on that, obviously reach out to me. But stress isn't bad. It's there to grab your attention so you can be more diligent about something that you're doing. Urgency and seeking importance through being busy, those are red flags. If you notice you're doing that, go to your breath, stop the pattern. Otherwise, your brain's just going to keep repeating the pattern. You're the conscious creator of your life. You're the one who actually gets to enact control. It's just a matter of being willing to feel a little bit uncomfortable to do so, because when you're in a space of desiring urgency and you stop and slow yourself down, that is literally counterintuitive to your body. But you have to prove to your brain, there's no bear attacking me. I can survive this moment. It's going to get done 2 minutes later than it would. And if you really can't give yourself 2 minutes, then you really should reach out to me, because you have a bigger problem than you think. But that is what I have for you today. Hopefully this helps. If it does, please comment below what you found most useful. And I'm very happy to give links of good yoga nidras or progressive muscle relaxations that I have done, or the different breathing options. So let me know what you enjoyed. And otherwise, I will see you next week for another Coffee with Laura.